So here we're going to be making a mug or coffee cup or teacup, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to be using the features that would be revolved boss or base, swept boss or base, shell, and fillet. So we're going to start off by choosing the front plane and creating a sketch on the front plane. I'm going to use this origin point as my outside of my mug for drawing. So I will create the outside of my mug by drawing a simple rectangle. For this, I'm going to use sketch fillet. For this corner here, I'm going to increase the size. And I can just increase that to what I think would be appropriate. I think 40 is good. Confirm that. And then I'm going to insert sizes. So I can turn this to be perhaps 120. This size may be 60. Might go less on that. And actually 160 is good. I'll maybe change this to 100. 120 I think is good. Change this to 50. And this is the half profile of my coffee cup or travel mug or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now all the lines have turned black. They're fully defined and I'm happy with that. If you wanted to change this curve, instead of having it as an arc, you could turn it into a spline. So what I could also do for that is if I delete that part, I extend this, I could have what's called a spline. So I could join that point to that point, hit escape on the keyboard to say I'm finished with the spline tool. We can select the spline itself, and then these diamonds will direct my curvature. So I can control the curvature, and it just gives you something that's an alternative to an arc, which is based on a circle. So if I wanted that to be tangential with this vertical line here, I would take the diamond, and I would then make it to be vertical in relationship to its curvature. And then for this one here, I can control the rest of the curve with that. You can also elongate it and shorten it depending on what you think works. So I'm happy with that spline. I might just change the measurement of this flat component to make it a little bit bigger so that I have a little bit more surface area in contact with the table. And again, we can shorten our curvature. I can shorten or elongate the curvature. By using the arrowhead, and then the diamond can control the rest. So if I zoom out, I can see that, and that's something that I'm happy with. And what I just need to do then is smart dimension this length here to maybe 50, and the whole sketch turns black, and therefore it's fully defined. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my revolve tool. I'll go to features. I'm going to go to revolved boss or base and revolve this whole mug around the central axis. As you can see, it will create that curved shape for me. Now, although we see a line here, if we change our view to a softened edge, we see that it is your mug shape, but the line is gone. Okay, that line exists just to show that you have two sketches meeting each other, creating an edge. Okay, and so now what we'll do is we'll make this a hollow vessel. So in order to do that, we'll go to our features tab, which is something that deals with all 3D shapes. We'll choose shell. And the thickness of the walls that I want are maybe 4 mm. So I'll type in 4. I don't see much, so I'm going to have to choose show preview. The yellow lines give me an indicator of what the shape will change, and you can see that The walls are going to come in at by 4 millimeters. Now I do want to be able to get liquid in the vessel, so therefore I'm going to open up the top surface. So in this blue box here, I'm going to choose the top surface, and that means that will open up the top surface, and I'll choose to confirm that. When we rotate our image around, you can see that I now have an open vessel that I can get liquid in and out. The next thing that I want to do is I want to make the handle. And so therefore, this is where our part comes into play, where I had the origin on the outside of the cup. And so what I'll do is I will choose you can choose either the right plane, or you can choose the right plane to draw. Sorry, the front plane will be our path. So our path is going to go along there, and then our right plane is going to be for the profile, which is on the outside of the cup. So for my front plane, I'm going to choose my line, and I can use multiple tools here. I could use 3-point arc, I could use spline, whichever you decide is the best option. So if I choose spline, I want to choose my start point just inside this line, or actually I'll just choose it there, and then my end point is going to be down here somewhere. Okay. Now I don't want to use any other points, so I want to confirm that I'm finished with that tool, so I can right click, hit select, and then I have my spline. Although it looks like a straight line, I just haven't added any curvature yet. So I'll select the line, take my diamonds, and adjust my diamonds. Take the arrowhead, adjust the arrowhead for my curvature of my handle. So I can elongate the handle, and when you're happy, we can then confirm it. So I'm happy with that shape as my path. It's going to start here and end up finishing there. So that would be my path. Now it doesn't have any definition on it just yet, but I can add in a smart dimension. So I can hit that line and confirm it. I can click on this point here. Confirm that, and then I can also smart dimension the distances from the edges. So I'll go 15 from there. I'll go 25 from there, and I now have a black sketch. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'll confirm that, confirm that. Now, that sketch 2 is, I'm going to rename it. So I'm going to click on it once, click on it a second time, and I can rename that the path, handle path. Okay, and what I'll do next is I'm going to draw my shape here for the handle. So it can be a semicircle, it can be elliptical shape, it can be a rectangle, but we're going to make that shape, follow that path along to create the handle. So on the right plane, I'm going to draw, and as you can see, it interjects with the starting point of my handle here. So that's where I'm going to draw my rectangle or my shape, my profile. So I'm going to hit sketch, sketch, and for me, I'm going to use a rectangle shape. So up here, I'm just going to pick the center rectangle tool so it's easier. We'll click the center point, and that's maybe the size I want. Now, if you notice, I haven't got any sizes on it yet, and it's not attached or connected or related to this curve just yet. So what I'll do then is I will put sizes on it. So the size of my width, I want to be 15. The thickness of it, I want to be 6. And I'm happy with those 2 dimensions. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect the center of this to my path. So I'm going to hold Control on the keyboard, select the center point, and select the curve. We should have a relationship over here called pierce. And once I connect them with a pierce, you'll see that it turns black. That is the 2 sketches that I need for my sweep done. I'm just going to rename this one, call it handle profile. And now I'm going to combine my handle path and my handle profile. I'll go to features. The feature I want to use is a swept bosser base. If you don't know what swept bosser base does, if you hover over it, it should show you or explain it to you. So you can see even there from that S shape that it will create that. So once I select that tool, it asks for the profile and the path. So sketch profile in here. What does this one do? It does the profile. So I can either select it from the image or I can select it from the menu if I open up the menu. So select the profile, handle profile. And here if I hover over it, it tells you what to do on the left, which is the path. I can select the handle path. And I end up getting my handle. Now, if you notice, it just doesn't connect as well here. So I might have to make an adjustment for my path profile to maybe come in a little bit into the solid. The options that I wanted to do is I wanted to follow the path with no twist and all's good. So I'll confirm that. So it's not going to create it because it ends up with a shape down here that's just not fully correct. So I'm going to edit this profile. And what I'll do at this point is I'm going to delete its relationship with the coincidence. So I'll click on the green box. I'm just going to slide that in to the inside here a little bit. I'm going to smart dimension that point from the origin by 6. That means that that's going to be inside by a little bit. So I'm just going to adjust that maybe to 5 because I think it's too far in. And I'm happy with that. So I'll just get a view here to show me. So that point doesn't go to the inside of the mug, so it won't cause any issues. I'm happy with that. That's good. So now I'll go back and I'll do the sweep for my profile, which will be the handle profile, my path, and I'll confirm it. And as you can see, it goes all the way through the mug, which is great. I'm going to go in the second direction. I'm going to edit this again. So this point here needs to go in. So I will smart dimension. Just change the dimensions of it from my horizontal measurement of 15 and this distance from here to that point in a vertical manner would be 2. Now I'll do the same thing again. So I go swept washer base. This time choose the profile, choose the path. There we go, and confirm. And that's that handle done. We can then use our fillet tool to add fillets to the handle. So we choose this surface here, or that edge, that edge, that edge, that edge, and change the measurement to perhaps 2. We get a nice profiled face on our handle. I can then take an appearance. I can add some porcelain or some stone. So I'd go to stoneware, bone, china, earthenware, porcelain, whatever it is that you want to make it from. And I can drag and drop that onto my part. I can take my box, turn it into a shaded area, and with my view, I can look at it like so. So I hope that's okay to follow. Any issues, just ask.